Hello, this is just a short introduction to part two of the John Hagee video. I think you're going to find it really fascinating. All right, hold on now. Now, John teaches a version of the prosperity gospel, and it says that while listening to one of his sermons, being a part of one of that congregation that's looking on, with dozens of men bearing glinting platters in the aisle and six cameramen capturing the moment, Hagee instructs church members to hold their money towards the heavens. The thousands repeat after him, "Give and it shall be given." So when you give, he says, it qualifies you to receive God's abundance. If God gives to you before you give to him, God himself becomes a liar. If you're not prospering, it's because you're not giving. For 4 decades, Hagee's message has motivated his members to give millions to his ministry. And I found this on a website called Cult Education Institute, which hopefully you can see. You can see the web address, the URL here. If not, just look up Cult Education Institute and you'll find it. One of the things that make Hagee so dangerous is his interest in politics. You'll see him here with Ted Cruz and with Mike Pence and Donald Trump. He's kind of their darling these days. John has rather strong views on Israel. He pushes hate mongering rhetoric against Muslims and Jews. Jews, he says, who fail to accept Christ will be destroyed. He advocates a war with Iran as a way to usher in World War III and says that Israel will be covered, quote, in a sea of human blood, end quote, convinced that Christ's return will be welcomed by the survivors of World War III. Hagee's racism and anti-Semitism are so extreme that John McCain disavowed his support in 2008 when he was running for president. Hagee suggests that Hitler and 6 million dead Jews were God's instrument to facilitate other Jews moving to Israel. He has said that America has been invaded by an invisible army of millions, referring to Muslims. He calls for America to identify our enemies and wipe them off the face of the earth before they destroy us from within. Muslims, quote, hate us because it's their religious duty to hate us. All right, let's get into some of his famous quotes. On women, he says, "Do you know the difference between a woman with PMS and a snarling Doberman pinscher?" His answer is lipstick. "Do you know the difference between a terrorist and a woman with PMS?" You can negotiate with a terrorist. I wonder how his wife, pictured here, feels about that. On wives specifically, he said, "Women are only meant to be mothers and bear children. Childless marriage equals dead, poison, empty." And that was a quote from his sermon entitled, "What God Wants in a Woman." On divorce, he said in 2007, "Christians don't steal or lie. They don't get divorced or have abortions." Well, meet John's first wife, Martha. Did you know that John Hagee is divorced? He founded Cornerstone Church after divorcing his first wife, Martha, in 1975. The divorce was quite the scandal for congregants of Trinity Church, which is where he was the minister at that time. He then remarried, getting hitched to Diana Castro, who was a congregant at Trinity and is still his current wife.